In a historic vote, the House of Representatives expelled Representative George Santos from its ranks today.
The long-embattled Republican was ousted after a scathing ethics committee report, which detailed a litany of fraudulent and unlawful activities. Now, this is only the sixth time in U.S. history that the House has voted to expel one of its members. This resolution passed 311 to 114. Among those voting to expel Santos were 105 members of his own Republican Party.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins us now from Capitol Hill. So, Scott, how has Congress changed in the last few hours?
Congressman Santos is now former Congressman Santos, and he raced out of this building in an unorthodox way for him, without answering questions, without making an argument, without stopping before the cameras. They've changed the locks on his former office doors in the Longworth House office building. His website is taken down. The phones will not be answered. The clerk of the U.S. House now oversees congressional services for the New York 3rd Congressional District until a special election is held. And New York Governor Kathy Hochul today announced she's starting the process of scheduling that special election. But in a more fundamental way, very little has changed about the dynamics of a particularly fractured, vitriolic Congress. I asked one of the New York Republicans who spearheaded this effort to expel Santos if this is going to cool off the tensions or inflame the tensions, and he said, "I don't know." That's where we stand now that there is a former Congressman Santos and 434 members of the U.S. House.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you go to santos.house.gov, his congressional website, now it redirects you to the office of the clerk, current vacancies for the session of Congress. All that changing. And Scott, as you mentioned, you've spoken with lawmakers. What are they telling you?
For the New York Republicans who had districts near or adjoining Congressman Santos, they've been saying unambiguously for months now, the guy's a distraction, the guy's a crook, the guy's a fraud. And they were the ones providing a lot of the muscle behind this expulsion resolution. Some of those New York Republicans have been telling me, we just want to talk about something else. We're tired of our constituents and the media asking us about George Santos. Take a listen to one of them, Anthony D'Esposito, who also represents Long Island and is also a Republican in the House. Anything about how this played out today surprise you?
No. I guess over the last 11 months here, you could say nothing surprises us anymore. But listen, this is not a day to celebrate. It's not a day to be elated. It's a sad day. It's a sad day for this institution. It's a sad day for America. And it's a sad day for the 3rd Congressional District, who have now for 11 months not had proper representation.
The congressman says it's a sad day. Even though he's not wearing an overcoat, let me assure you it's also a cold day here in Washington, D.C. So the margin of error for House Republicans was so narrow, Elaine and Lana, just 5 votes, separating them from victory and defeat on anything. It's now 4 votes, and that special election in New York is going to be hyper-competitive. It's going to be expensive. It's one of the precious few competitive congressional districts in America, and both parties have their sights on it.
So, Scott, let's talk about that a bit more. When will a special election take place, and who are some of the likely candidates?
These things tend to take weeks, if not months. So it's not going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen before the end of the calendar year. Look for it in early 2024. There's a former Democratic congressman, Tom Suozzi, who has expressed interest in running for his old seat. Republicans are also bullish about this. The maps that allowed for a Congressman Santos, which favored a Republican in 2022, remain the maps for now. So Republicans think they have a shot at this. What's more, and this may be more important as 2024 begins, they think a different Republican in that office, if they win the special election, situates them better next November to hold that seat. If George Santos was running out the clock on his term late into 2024, they would think the prospects would be dimmer. But with an incumbent, if they can win the special election, they think they've got a chance of keeping that seat in the red column. It's really a big race to watch, not just because it affects that narrow margin for error, but maybe it's a barometer in early 2024 of where the electorate is ahead of the big elections later in the year.
All right, Scott MacFarlane on Capitol Hill. Scott, thank you.